Hey, what's going on, guys? Alright, so just a quick video. I like a lot of science fiction books, things like that, and two of my favorite authors is Stephen King and Dean Koontz. I will say Stephen King actually got me into reading in my early 20s, late 20s, with this book right here. And it is Stephen King, The Gunslinger. Now, this is the Dark Tower series of books. It took him many years to write. It kind of intertwines some of his other books, some of the scenes, scenarios, names, things like that. So if you read a lot of Stephen King and you start off, well, if you read a lot of Stephen King, you've already read these books. I mean, this is, to me, I read this series over and over again, and I find it very hard to put this book down. I start off with The Gunslinger, and I go right through the other 7, 8 of them. I think 2008 was the last one. It wasn't considered book number 8. It was just another book of the same type. It's hard to explain. But if you look it up, you'll see the 9 books that have the Dark Tower series. You know, if you're kind of new into reading and you find it boring or you fall asleep too fast, this is an excellent book. Now, it is not a kid's book, obviously. There is some foul language and suggestive readings in there, but, you know, that's up to you. I mean, I watch our movies as well, so it doesn't offend me in any way. It might you. But it's basically about a gunslinger where the world is changing, almost like a parallel universes coming together is the best way that I can explain it. And there's fractures in time, and he's from a different time and a different parallel universe of the same planet with similarities in now and then, and some portholes to go from then to now and back to then. And it's just, you know, there's a nemesis, the Man in Black. He is a gunslinger. He's, you know, tough as nails kind of guy, and it's truly an exceptional novel. So if you get a chance, for instance, this paperback here, I have it in hardcover as well. This paperback here was $8, $7.99 at Borders when I bought it, just to have it with me so I can take it camping, things like that, throw it in my pocket. And when I go out in the canoe, fishing, out camping, hiking, and I find a nice spot, I might have one of these with me that I can, you know, hang out, spend an hour just reading. Yeah, I've already read it, but every time I know it's kind of like some of those movies that you watch that you can watch over. Independence Day. I mean, come on, guys. How many times have you seen Independence Day, and yet when it's on, you have a hard time turning it off? Or Avatar. Okay, another one of my, I consider great movies. Stargate. Okay, so for science fiction, this is the book equivalent to some of those movies. Shawshank Redemption, you know, things like that, that you can read over and over again. And it's an awesome way to kind of shut down and spend some quality time in silence, out in nature, and just letting yourself, you know, delve right in and just page by page. All right, so that's number 1. The other one is Dean Koontz. I think they go hand in hand. Dean Koontz is another kind of freaky writer. Not as much as Stephen King, but this is another series of books. I like the ongoing series. This is Dean Koontz. It's Brother Odd, this particular one. But the first one is Odd Thomas. That one is actually in the camper right now, and it's all closed up, the pop-up, so I can't get to it. So I just pulled this one off the bookshelf and said, you know something, at least you guys can get a visual of what it looks like. That's Dean Koontz. This one is Brother Odd. It's one in the series. I think there are 8. The last one from 2013 or 14 is The Saint. I have not read that one yet. I have to get out there and get it. But this is another great, they made a movie, it was alright. It had the same guy, I don't remember names of actors and stuff, but it had the same guy that was in Star Trek, the new one. He was, I think, Scotty or whatever, the Russian guy. He actually plays Odd Thomas, and he's kind of a small town guy that has, like, you know, a sixth sense. He's a you know, paranormal. He sees the dead, this and that and the other thing, and he actually solves some crimes, and it's a very well written book. So again, that's Dean Koontz, Odd Thomas. If you haven't read either of these series of books, I implore you, please, please read these books, because if you like any kind of mystery, borderline science fiction, well, no, I can't say borderline science fiction, they are science fiction, but with a good story behind them and a character that you can really connect with, because Odd Thomas is a single person that you connect with through all the books. And Roland of Gilead in the Gunslinger series, the actual Gunslinger Roland, he is a character that you connect with the whole time. And that's it. I don't normally do book reviews on my channel, and I don't think I'll continue to do them, but these two books are my all-time favorites as far as science fiction, things like that. So I hope you get a chance to read them. If you've already read them and, you know, have something to say, do me a favor, man. Right down below in the comments section, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about it. If you haven't read it yet and you start to read it, man, send me a message, or put a comment down below. Even a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, if the video is still up, I still want to hear what you thought of this book. And I'd like to know if you've heard of it, or you've started to read it and hated it, or anything like that. You know, be open and honest and candid. That's kind of what I like. It's not kind of what I like, it's what I like. You know, speak your mind and tell me what you think, and get out there and get these books if you haven't, because you will truly enjoy them. If you're not one to read very often, start off with the Gunslinger series. Some of the terminology is a little tough, you know, some of the pronunciations. Like I said, you're going from different times and different accents and pronunciation across the years and dimensions. So some of it's a little sketchy, you know, that you have to really. But what's good about that is the next time, like, you'll get hooked on it. You'll read it a second time, and it's like a whole new book for you, because you've read it once, you've got an idea. Now, as you're reading it, you're more in tune to what the book is trying to say, and you pick more out of it. And then, like I said, I've read the whole series at least 5 times, and every time I read it, I pick up on a little nuance or a little tidbit of fact or something that Stephen King's trying to project to us, and that I didn't get the other 5 times I've read it. So that's my review of those 2 books. I don't normally do reviews either, never mind, you know, joining a book club or nothing like that. But if you like kind of cool books, you know, very manly, and those are them. All right, man. We'll see you traveling the tubes. Take care.